Hello everyone, my name's Oliver East and today I'm here to talk to you about Yak. I'm going to teach you how to play the game and then we'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Here we have a setup for 4 players. With 2 or 3 you're going to remove this Yak, which is the one with all types of resources. Each player is going to take one of the player boards where they're going to be building their stack of bricks up. They're going to take one resource of each type and place it on their yurt, and they'll also get one of each of the types of action cards. The aim of the game is to take these coloured bricks from the yak carts that are going around the table and produce and build the highest scoring stone tower. At the start of a round, you're going to pick one of your 3 cards. Now you get to choose, but you're going to keep that secret from your opponents. This will be the action you'll be taking that round when it gets round to you in turn order, starting with whoever has the baby yak meeple. The 3 actions you can take are build, restock and market. So let's have a look at them. By taking this market action, you'll be doing 2 things. First of all, you'll be trading food goods for the stones on the cart in front of you. You'll then be placing those stones onto your stone tower. Your player board has a reminder on it of how you trade for stones. For instance, if you want to take 3 stones, it would cost you 5 goods, bearing in mind what that cart can or cannot take. If any of them are the crystal types, which are effectively wild in colour, well, they cost you an additional 1 food resource. Again, still determined by what the cart can or cannot take. So if you were to take 2 stones and one of them was crystals, it would cost you 3 plus 1 for a total of 4 food tokens. At the moment, we have this cart in front of us, which does not allow milk. That means we would not be able to use these 2 milk while it's the cart in front of us. But let's say that it wasn't. We could then trade these 2 and potentially the bread or the meat with it to be 3 to get 2 of the bricks on it. These would go into the back of the cart and we would take the 2 bricks that we wanted. These would be placed onto our player board straight away. At the start you can build anywhere, but once you've chosen your starting place, you can only go adjacent to or on top of. When a cart has no stones on it, you'll reach into the quarry bag to refill it, adding 3 new bricks to the cart, again the one that's in front of you. When pulling from the quarry bag, if one of these white cloud tiles is taken out, instead of actually being added to the carriage, a new tile is pulled and it is added to the cloud track over at the side. That sees the yaks all rotated, so they'll be travelling the other way round the board at the end of the round. When this tracker is full of 3 clouds, this token is removed. They are added back into the bag and then the game continues. Perhaps instead you've played this restock card. From the cart in front of you, you can take up to 8 of any one resource type. Then you must draw a brick from the quarry bag and add it to the cart. So I could say bread, take all of the bread and add it to my yurt, and then draw from the quarry bag and add it to here. Now these have a limit of 4 bricks, so you'd skip that if it was full. The final action you can take is the market card. In this case, you would take 2 food tokens of any combination from the market in the middle. Then you must draw 3 stones from the quarry bag, selecting 1 to place on any carriage that's got room, returning the other 2 stones to the quarry bag. Once all players have taken their turn, they will take their card back. They can use that again next round, and then all of the yaks rotate in the direction they're travelling, moving to the next player. The game goes until a player has enough of these bricks built up in their stone tower to reach the 4th level. This person gains this special marker to get bonus points, and then there's a final round before the game finishes. At the end of the game, you can use the helpful scoring pad to tot up your scores. You're going to score based on areas of individual colours, with wilds only being allowed to be added in one per group. You'll then score points on how many different colours you've used, with additional points available for things like resources, single stones, and being the first person to get the level 4. Whoever gets the most points wins, and that's how to play Yak. So Yak is a fairly quick to play game. You've only got those 3 actions, but that still does drive quite a bit of choice. Now, you're going to want to be taking that build action the most, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to score the points. The other 2 actions do feel like things you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do them, and if you use them correctly, then you can really help yourself out. Not only can you maybe put the colour, or hopefully the colour you want, in a cart that's going to be coming around the circle towards you, well, you can also take a lot of resources in one go, because you're going to be paying in sets to the carts, which means if you time it right with the carts coming around the circle, if someone's just bought a load, you can grab a load of resources in one go that could help you do the same. Now, there are some great bits about the game, and there's also some things that I think do let it down a little bit. Let's start with setup. Setup for 4 players is fairly quick. You put pretty much everything on the board, you're going to fill up the different carts, and you're away. With 2 and 3 players, having to remove one of the colours from the bag just slows things down. But at the same time, with less people around the table, it means you can, with fewer carts still, work out a little bit more what everyone's going for. In a 4-player game, you can be getting a little bit more of that chaos. With the carts going round, maybe flipping round and going the other way, you're just trying to grab whatever's good for you. As the player count lowers, even though the cart amount lowers, you can start to work out, well, that person's going for these colours a little bit more, so I can let that colour slide this time and maybe earn some or gain some resources to buy it when it comes back around. Some people are going to like that, some people are going to like the chaos, and it kind of depends on sort of the player count that you're playing at. The production quality is also a little bit of a mixed bag, which surprised me quite a lot, considering there are dual-layered player boards, these amazing carts pulled by yaks, a baby yak mini for the start player, wooden tokens, lovely chunky bricks, but chunky bricks that they seem to continually use similar colours on. I've got 2 different bricks here, blue and light blue. They are completely different. This cart here is full of 3 orangey yellows. They are 3 different colours. There's black, grey, another type of grey. I don't know why they have decided to go for such similar colours when completely separate colours would have made the play a lot easier. They've gone for all these sort of fancy looks, the nice colour on the board, the amazing production quality of everything else. They just seem to have forgotten that you're going to be playing with these colours. And in non-perfect light, and even in good light, it's very easy to mistake it and then go, oh, I didn't want that, I'm going to have to rethink that turn now. What about that easy decision though? Those 3 choices, those 3 cards. Yes, I've already spoken about why you might want a time when you do them, even though 2 maybe feel a bit weaker. The other thing is, choosing them at the start of the round is a really impactful thing, because you can see what's in the carts, you can see what's coming up, and you can try and plan for it. But by not knowing what other people are doing around the table, they could be putting some spanners into your perfectly formed plan. If you've just taken a load of bread because you want to be buying off that next cart, well, what happens if the person's just bought the bricks that you want? now you've got these bread, they're not usable in that, you can't get anything off that next cart that you want. The one after it doesn't accept bread. Now you've got to hold on to that bread and it's almost clogging up your yurt of resources. You've got to get rid of this bread somehow. And that's some interesting choices there, to be honest. It's not the deepest choices. You're mostly trying to grab as many resources that you can spend quickly to build, but there's some nice choices there. Then it comes to actually building. So actually building up your sort of stone tower. That's really satisfying, and to be honest, despite the issues with colour, you can see what you're starting to go for and start chaining the blocks of colour up to create big areas of one colour, and also trying to get as many different colours on as possible. It creates quite a nice looking thing in front of you, and something that, yes, maybe you could knock over, but it's fairly nicely solid because of that double layered player board. Regardless of how you've done, you will have built some stuff, you will have got resources, spent resources, so I think you do feel, even if you don't win, that you have done some kind of progression throughout the game, which is important for those that don't win. They feel at least, well, I have managed to get a big blob of this orange colour, or I have got lots of colours. You might not win, but at least you have managed to do something, because someone will have had to have built that 4th level, and that does give you a good amount of the full days of the rounds to actually have done something. And realistically, these carts are going to be zooming around the board as you're only doing those sort of double combo actions, one of them each turn. And you're going to go through a good chunk of tiles from this bag. And that's where some of the chaos just seems a little too managed. There's this sideboard, which I didn't say in the production, but is an issue because I think it doesn't fit very well in the box, so it will get wear and tear very quickly. But this tracker just seems completely pointless off at the side when you're pulling those white cloud brick things out of the bag. It feels like, right, I'm spinning all of the carts around, that's good fun. I've got to put it on the track, and we're keeping track of this cloud track, and maybe have fewer of these, and every time you pull one out of the bag, they all rotate and it goes back in. That, I think, would have done just as good a job, because I get the idea that this is here to play some averages, to make you, when you're drawing halfway through the game, drawing more, and then a load go back in the bag so you can start drawing them again, and this just seems annoyingly on the side. But to be honest, it is fun when the carts rotate, even if it does disrupt some plans. So who is Yak really aimed at? It is aimed at families. It is a sort of good gateway style game, maybe just a touch above some others. Not quite a gateway plus though. You are very simply on your turn playing one of your 3 cards, trying to gain resources to then spend when the next cart gets round to you, grabbing some coloured bricks and building them up in quite a nice pyramid-y sort of thing. It's very simple aim, and it means on your turn you can calculate what you want to do rather than trying to work out what you can do. And that's always a good thing for sort of that gateway game. You can see the idea, you can see the aim, and then you've just got to try and score the biggest amount of points that you can. And to be honest, I think for those people, Yak will really work. For me, it just, with things like the sideboard that you're tracking things, maybe with a bit too much chaos, it doesn't quite work for me, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Anyway, until next time, check out other news, reviews and such on the Dice Tower, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.